Aloha and welcome to Java. Thank you kindly for joining me. As always, it's September 13th, 2024. It is Friday heading into the weekend. So we've got a big week ahead next week with the Fed. We'll talk about that in a moment. But for now, let's start off with the markets this morning. We've got our relative risk indicator, the MMRI, has dropped a bit to 28.7 and showing in the fear greed meter, even though it's in neutral, it has shown a move back towards greed. So we've got a bit moving back into the markets. Green yesterday on the core inflation prices. So this is pricing in more of a rate cut basically from the Fed, kind of going between quarter and a half point. The market is pricing in a half cut now as it rose yesterday. Now, as it looks to continue right now, we've got stocks in the green as well as the futures, but I think it's going to slow down a bit towards the middle of the day. Watch your volume for the change. So next we've got global tensions are pretty high. We've got a weaker market possible and some profit taking this afternoon, even looking at this continuance. Now they're looking forward to the Fed cutting rates on Wednesday. I believe that will be a sell the news event, but continuation in the green, if you will, until then. However, Friday typically end of day is chop profit taking and clearing out options positions. So be cautious of that. We've got with this the underlying 10-year yield, relative strength of the dollar. Both have fallen and given room for this increase. Now, cryptocurrencies have recovered a bit, but they're looking a bit weak in comparison to the stocks. We've got a couple of things, namely with XRP, but Bitcoin is above the 58,000 level. As long as it holds here, showing some continued strength. Now, we've got the volatility index, or basically the fear index in the markets is pulled back a slight bit. Gold is at an all-time high. What does this say? It's not going along with the markets going up. What this is saying is that the big money is not believing the longer term and hedging for the inflation that will come with those rate cuts. So with this, there's one other thing that I would like to go into, and this is top artificial intelligence business leaders meeting with the White House. What do they mean, top AI business leaders, corporations? So Thursday, they discussed the future of AI in a meeting with a group of executives from OpenAI, NVIDIA, Microsoft, and other companies. Now, this focus is on building data centers in the United States, infrastructure that is needed to develop the technology. Why are they discussing behind closed doors? If this doesn't tell you about the corporatocracy that is moving into the politics, then this is clear as day. Not going to throw any insult. However, it's very much in our face about this, but they also open up in the industries that are going to be growing moving forward, namely utilities on the infrastructure as well as the power needs for these data centers. Now, I want to mention with these data centers, we had Oracle come out with their earnings and they had huge increase. So showing very strong there and moving forward, just to give you an eye into what is moving forward. So with their calendar, and I'm not certain I'm going to be able to get the video processed prior to the numbers coming out, but we're looking at import price index coming out before market open, and then consumer sentiments. Right now, everything stocks in the green. They had quite a bit of a jump yesterday and probably looking at continuing at least to midday. Watch your volume for the change. We've got defensive stocks making a comeback as basically markets are realizing when they cut these rates, the regular, typical, if you will, Dow, the Russell small caps are up. These will all likely go weak on profit taking. So short on this, we also had Microsoft had an outage, and they're saying the service, this just came out, service issues are fully resolved after shut down multiple systems. Now, if you remember, the CrowdStrike outage was also tied in deeply with Microsoft. They have not said what it is yet. We'll keep an eye out for what that is. So, with all of this green, I want to bring your attention to the markets forward. Fed next week expected to announce on Wednesday these rate cuts. When they do, there are multiples of analysts calling for a sell the news event, basically markets to get weak on that Wednesday. And I'll be here with you as well, but just to kind of, if you're timing options or some of your trades, to watch that as an event. It's going to be a very busy week. So with this also on Monday, we've got the Trump family planning to launch the crypto business they've been speaking about on Monday. This is just prior to election days, what they're saying, but in my mind, this is big cryptocurrency move. We'll talk about it in a little bit. We've also had Boeing is now down this morning because the factory workers have voted to go on strike. They've rejected the contract offer. Now, this is not just a singular company. I want to bring this out because Boeing is not just large enough to move the United States GDP on their own, but they're a huge defensive contract with governments as well. They are a large weapons manufacturer as well as our defense. So with this stock going down longer term could be a huge could be a buy opportunity, not financial advice, but watch your key levels. This is going to be a major detractor, at least for the time. Now, I would like to talk about, before I talk about mortgage rates, we've got new tax on the largest companies. Treasury Department proposing 15% on the 100 largest United States companies. Now, right now, they're talking about paying average effective tax rate 2.6% tax per year. Effective tax rate is important wording here because when you impose taxes on these corporations, they basically have a lot of write-offs they can do, but for those that they cannot. This was all part of the Inflation Reduction Act. These companies will either do one of two things: pass on the additional cost to the consumers, or they flee to a more tax-friendly area. So this could cause some issues longer term. How do they pass on these costs? Well, for instance, we've got Walmart to digitize shelf labels. This came out before, but we're going to watch this pricing model and also business model kind of expand. Now, what they're doing is streamlining operations, speeding up restocking, and they have the ability to change prices as often as every 10 seconds. So this dynamic pricing is basically a setup for what we are looking forward to. It's down the road, but we are going to go into, I believe, an inflationary event. Whether you call it hyperinflationary, superinflationary, is matter of degree. But this allows them to move on a dime, if you will, literally, to change their pricing and adapt to this. So this generally is a large blow to consumers, if you will. So dynamic pricing, not good for consumers. It's best made to float the industries and the companies behind them. So with this, I'd like to move over to another major section that affects the wealth effect of consumers, and that's mortgage rates. Now, mortgage rates right now are dropping, but it's not improving demand because this is for the singular home buyer who at this point in time either does not have enough for the down payment, number two, does not have the credit rating that they can qualify for this loan, or number three, cannot afford the long-term payments, which also goes into the qualification portion for the loan. So while these loans are dropping, the prices are not down enough yet. So this is deflationary for prices for housing. Now, while that's good news for those looking to purchase a home, the wealth effect, quote unquote, is negative for the overall economy and consumer sentiment moving forward. So purchase applications down. And what we're looking at on purchase numbers in the back end is the corporate purchases, which are done in cash. Those are also down, which will bring down pricing. Okay, a couple of things moving over to the web and crypto space. So this is basically Web3 space. We've got a couple of stories here. Grayscale, which is also XRP, is launching, having an ETF fund launched by Grayscale, and this is going to be positive for Ripple. They also have, they're saying they have the potential to transform legacy financial systems. What does this translate to? They could be a major benefactor of the CBDC move in some form or another, maybe not as directly, but we've got to watch them with this. Another story, we've got OpenAI. Now remember, they are in talks with directly with White House regarding their infrastructure, and they've come out with a new model, a step closer to human-like artificial intelligence, but it's also got its issues. Now they're having a major fund drive. This could push up their stock as well, and they're in major competition with China at the time, as we spoke about yesterday. So with this, they're moving into Web3, moving these models forward. With this, we've got Hawaii now has come out with a new crypto regulation. So Hawaii now actually may become major crypto hub for the United States. They are attracting notable Web3 firms, namely Coinbase, MetaMask, Transact, BitPay, and Trust Wallet. Now, keep in mind the major players in Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, Oracle, and a lot of these larger companies own large amounts of property here now and have started up businesses. So it's only natural that these hubs are building over in Hawaii. So just want to name that. And with BRICS, we had something rather odd come out, and this is that the IMF, International Monetary Fund, is encouraging the development of BRICS. So that is basically something to look into. They are kind of rivals, if you will, with the funding of projects between the two sides, the West and the East. We've got Turkey in between the two. So quite a few very interesting key alliances, if you will, that are going on in the background. We've got some things going into the weekend, still looking for the treaties that they're speaking about with Israel, and in the background also Korea developing. Now South Korea developing for the Western side, as well as North Korea bolstering their weapons grade uranium, if you will. They are also supplying with Russia for the weapons, and they are looking at growing their arsenal. So with all of these things, there's a lot more going on in the background and financially with these trades. So we're going to keep an eye on this. I will see you Sunday, and I look forward. Until then, I wish you all a wonderful weekend. Feel free to join us on Discord. We kind of keep up on things there. And until I see you again, my friends, stay free.